All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're taking a look at something really fascinating. What's actually happening inside a man's body when you and he are physically separated? This is all based on the She Who Awakens philosophy, and it's about using that knowledge to really protect and strengthen your intimate connection.
It's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? But what if the answer wasn't just about feelings or how much you miss each other? What if it was actually biological and predictable? That's exactly what we're going to explore.
The secret, really, lies in understanding two very distinct stages his body goes through. They're called the Tarkhanov peak and the Belov shutdown. And knowing how these work is the key to making sure that when you finally get back together, things are better than ever.
Okay, let's break this down. Phase 1 is what happens in roughly the first 2 weeks you're apart. It's called the Tarkhanov peak. And believe me, it's a pretty intense period of time.
Think of his body like a factory that's used to running on a certain schedule. Just because you're away, that production line doesn't just stop. It keeps going out of habit, and that creates a very real physical sense of fullness that sends some pretty powerful signals straight to his brain.
So when you see these kinds of symptoms, you've got to understand, this isn't just him missing you in some abstract romantic way. According to this philosophy, it's a direct biological response to that internal pressure that's building up. It's physiological.
And this intense phase, it usually lasts about 10 to 14 days. The source material calls this a high-risk window, and here's why. That physical pressure, that unspent energy, can make a man feel really agitated and vulnerable to, well, external distractions if he's not very self-aware. So what happens after that 2-week mark? Does it just stay that intense forever? Nope. His body is smart, and it shifts into a completely different gear. Welcome to Phase 2, the Belov shutdown.
This is actually a brilliant survival mechanism. His body basically sends a memo up to the main office in his brain that says, hey, it looks like intimacy is off the table for a while. Let's conserve our resources and shut down the production line for now.
And this chart just lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? It's a complete flip. In the first 2 weeks, you have all this accumulation, high testosterone, and restlessness. But after that, it's conservation mode. His system becomes sexually quiet. And notice how the risk changes. It's no longer about outside temptation, but about the potential for a really painful misunderstanding when you two finally reunite.
So here's the whole map of the journey. It kicks off with that peak of high arousal, then drops into this deep conservation mode. And that last part is so important. A reawakening is required. His system doesn't just flick back on like a light switch. And this is the thought that can cause so much pain and confusion. You're finally back together, you're expecting this passionate reunion, but he seems distant, uninterested. It's so easy to make that about you, to think it's something you did or that there's someone else, but it's vital to know this isn't personal. It's biology.
So, knowing all of this, we get to the most crucial part, right? How do you actually bring his system back online in a way that feels good for both of you? This is where you can step into a really powerful, proactive role. Instead of meeting that quietness with hurt or suspicion, you can actually become the one who gently restarts his engine. The idea is that you can be the master frequency that re-engages his whole nervous system. But the key word here is gently. This is not about pressure.
And here's a practical roadmap for how to do that. Step 1 is just about calming his system down with non-sexual touch, like a simple back rub. Then you gradually escalate to more intimate touch to get the signals firing again. And step 3 is huge. You verbally let him know how much you want him. This creates a sense of safety, removing any fear of failure, and allows his body to catch up.
Okay, let's zoom out for a minute, because this framework isn't just about navigating a week-long business trip. It's presented as something that's key to the long-term health of your relationship, something the source calls sexual fitness.
It really boils down to that old saying, use it or lose it. Just like a muscle gets weaker if you don't use it, the argument here is that the male reproductive system can see a real decline in function from long periods of inactivity. This can affect everything from testosterone to performance over the years.
Now that might sound like a lot of pressure, but the idea here is to see it as an empowered role. By understanding how his body works and by actively keeping that intimate connection alive, you're not just getting through time apart, you're actually safeguarding the vitality and health of your relationship for the long haul.
So with all this in your back pocket, the real question is, what's your game plan for the next time you reunite? Instead of dread or anxiety, you now have a roadmap. You have a proactive strategy to make sure that no matter the distance, your connection just keeps getting stronger.
You can find the electronic version of book She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain at wishforlove.org.